Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. It has been a long time coming, but we're back. I do have quite a bit of finished objects. Well, let me start by saying, so today we're literally just going to be talking about my finished objects, whips, and acquisitions. I have quite a few finished objects since I was last on here. So yeah, I'm just going to hop on into it. I think the last time I was on here was probably like March of this year, and it is now August. But nonetheless, we move forward. So I am going to do this in the order that I started the project. It's not necessarily that I finished it in the same order, but anyways, so my first object is the FNUG Slipover. I will also insert some pictures just so you can see it better, but the Slipover was written by Atelier Josefien. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I knitted using Hobbii Friends wool and Hobbie's Diablo mohair. I think the color came out just lovely. I've worn this a few times because it is wool and mohair. It is a little warm, so I finished this. I started this at the end of March, well, halfway through March, and finished it halfway through April. So just a little over a month, and by that time it started getting warm outside. So I only wore this like I think once or twice, but I would definitely be bringing it out for the fall. It was such a simple and easy knit piece. Most of it is the stockinette, and then all of the ribbing is twisted rib, which I actually found out that while I was doing this project that I've been twisting all of my rib. Like any projects prior to this, I had been twisting my rib. Yeah. Anyways, I don't mind it because I actually like how it looks. I feel like it gives such a like clean look. I don't know. And it makes it look like true rib. But yes, like I said, I will be bringing this back out. I did knit this in a size small. And yeah, so that is finished object number 1. Also, if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes. I made like a little knitting journal so I can keep track of everything. If y'all want a video on that, like doing a little dive into my knitting journal, I would be open to it. But yeah, anyways, so I don't crochet, y'all, but I started crocheting before I began knitting, because my grandma taught me when I was like a preteen how to crochet. Didn't really care for it, but picked it back up during quarantine, and then that's also when I taught myself how to knit. So I was like, it's summer, I kind of want to maybe crochet again, even though I don't necessarily care to. I low-key feel like this one crochet project was enough for me to say, yeah, crocheting is just not for me, girl. So anyways, this is the granny top. It only took me like 2 days in total to complete this, which I think is fairly quick. I am a fairly slow knitter, fairly slow crocheter. So yeah, I knit this completely to pattern. So the length and everything, I just knit it to pattern. It is almost like, it stops about right under my bra. So it's almost like a bralette more so than a tank top. But I kind of also, I don't know, I kind of just wear it, you know, as like a tank top. I don't care to show a little skin, you know. God gave it to me for a reason. Ain't no way, I mean, might as well bless the people, you know. But I use this, oh, let me tell y'all who the pattern is by. This is by Alethea Handmade. This was like a revamp of her original granny tank top pattern. So yeah. But I crocheted this all in scrap yarn. I had like, I think a ball and a half left of the Lang Novena. So I was just like, oh, okay, this is kind of perfect for it. I like the little variation heathering in the yarn. I think this was a really good project to like show that off and everything. I crocheted this in a size small, and it was on 3.75 millimeter needles. I don't really have much to say about this. It is very, because of the yarn I use, it is very soft. And it actually, even though it's like a wool and alpaca, like it actually ended up being like a really good summer yarn to use for something like this that's quite airy. But yes, that's all I have to say about that. Everything else is knit projects also. So the next thing is the Silent Water socks. By Always Friday, I knit these in the Fibre Studio Dreamers Pool. I did make a few mistakes in this pattern, just because I was like, oh, it's a simple, you know, repeat. I think it was like a 6-stitch repeat, which actually it really was simple. After like the second round of me having to do the repeat, I was like, oh, okay, this is fairly easy. Like I don't have to keep looking at the pattern. But also after the second round, that is when I made my first mistake on my first pair of socks, because I forgot to do an additional stockinette row. So it is like off by a little bit. I ended up doing the same exact thing on the second pair of socks, because I was like, I don't want it to be, it's not going to be necessarily noticeable, but I was like, I also kind of just don't want it to be off. The second mistake that I made on these is that the bottom of the foot was supposed to be just plain stockinette, and I actually knit it into pattern, and that also goes into me not paying attention and to the actual pattern, sock pattern, because I was like, oh, well, you know, it's a simple pattern repeat. But I have worn these, y'all. I've worn them in my docks. I've worn them around the house. Like, I really like this pattern, and I really like the color of the wool and just the wool in general. Yes, they are starting to peel, because I didn't hold it with like any mohair. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I didn't hold it with like any mohair or anything, so they are kind of starting to peel a bit. But honestly, I don't really care, as long as they don't get any holes in them. Fingers crossed. I don't care that they're peeling, because they look just fine to me, and also because I think of the pattern of it all, that it doesn't make it so noticeable. That, and the addition to the variation in the color of the wool. But yes, I really enjoyed this. My fourth finished object that I have is the Alice Vest by, one second y'all, I don't even remember. I think it was Emma Knits, but I could be wrong. I will put it on the screen somewhere. But I knit it in this butter yellow. Y'all, one, I had to hop on a trend, low-key, because, you know, butter yellow is the color of the summer and everything. Had to hop on that trend. But also, while I was in my local yarn store, I saw this yellow and I was just like, yes, absolutely, yes. So, the wool, I don't remember the name of it. I will also put that on the screen. However, the mohair that I paired it with is the Essentials mohair in just the color yellow. I bought that while I was out of town some time ago, so it's been sitting in my stash for a bit, and I think the two colors together are one, like, just chef's kiss. Like, they honestly were almost like a perfect match for each other. But yes, I really like how this vest came out. I did, I believe the pattern called for like 2 I-cord ties. However, I only did the one because I was just like, I really just didn't want to knit 2 I-cords, honestly. So I only did the 1 I-cord, and I like how it came out. I feel like I like that look better than I would have liked the look with the 2 I-cords. I definitely want to knit this again, probably in some other bright colors like pink, blue, you know, just do the whole rainbow basically. I probably wouldn't use mohair though, just because it is more so of a summery. I feel like it is, like, it, at least this color, it kind of gives more summer. So I probably wouldn't knit, if I did it again, with mohair, just because I actually want to enjoy it in the summer. However, this yarn is so soft, and the Essentials mohair is like so non-itchy that I have definitely worn this without wearing anything under it, besides a bra of course, and being completely comfortable. It hasn't been too hot to wear with the summer heat, but I also have not worn it when the weather is like over 95, because that would be absolutely insane. But yes, that is all for that one. And I have one more finished object, which I just finished 2 days ago, and it is the TOMO top by Mei Knits. Y'all, this yarn has been sitting in my stash for a good, at least a year, I want to say. Probably closer to a year and a half. But it is the We Are Knitters The Mixed in the color Wine. Y'all, one, I got this yarn because it made me think of the Cheshire Cat, and I was like, I need something Alice in Wonderland-y. Honestly, could never find a pattern that gave like Alice in Wonderland, and then also I really just hadn't been feeling like freestyling anything. So yes, when I got selected to test knit the TOMO top, also the pattern's not out yet, but when I got selected to test knit the TOMO top, I was just like, this is the perfect yarn to use for this. This yarn feels so buttery soft. It's so buttery soft to knit with. I just love this yarn, honestly. And I promise y'all, this is not me. I'm not being sponsored. Anyways, so what can I say about this top? One, you start with the straps. It's knit top down. You start with the straps connected at the bust, and then knit it in the round all the way down, and it has a folded hem at the bottom. This is my first time ever doing a folded hem, and I like hand sewed it down. I don't know if that's like typical of how you do a folded hem, but I hand sewed it down. It only took me about like, I want to say about 30 minutes to hand sew it down, which I think was fairly quick. I thought it was going to take me forever because I low-key was struggling at first. But I really enjoyed this top. I've worn it once so far, being that, I mean, I did finish it 2 days ago and it just got off the blocking mats yesterday. So I've worn it once so far, not out anywhere. But yes, I'm definitely, because it has been raining a lot lately here in South Carolina, so definitely if it gets warm again, I definitely will be wearing this out. You might be sick and tired of seeing me if you are living in Greenville, South Carolina, and you just so happen to walk past me. Y'all might be sick and tired of seeing me. I don't care. I really like this top, and I think the color is just like perfect for my skin tone and everything. I will definitely be knitting another one of these. I will say the only thing that I was kind of just like over was knitting the straps, because they're so long, and I'm like, bro, like it felt endless at a point, and I was just like, can we get on to actually knitting the top? But I do like that it is all seamless and everything. So yeah, because typically whenever I see like tops with straps like this, I just like, you gotta sew them, and nobody wants to do that. It doesn't look as good in my opinion. So yes, so like I said, that was my last whip, or my last finished object. Now we can move on to my whips. Currently I have 4 whips, which is quite a bit for me. I need to get something off of my needles like yesterday. But I also did this to myself, because once I finished knitting the TOMO top, I quite literally cast it on 2 more projects. Why? I don't know. I felt whimsical. Anyways, so going on to my first whip. This is also a test knit. It is the Lavender Haze cardigan. I am using 100% natural wool by Baa Ram Ewe. I think that's how you say it. It is in the color Bedrock. And y'all, when I tell you, this is my first time purchasing yarn that is undyed. And y'all, why didn't anybody tell me that that is the way to go? I never understood what people meant by like the smell of natural wool smells so good until I got my hands on this. And every single time I picked it up to knit this, I think that's what also motivated me to like try to hurry up and finish it, is because of the smell of the wool. Like I don't even have to put it like right up to my nose. That's how strong it is. It smells so freaking good. I did actually end up calculating like how like the yardage of my yarn incorrectly some way somehow, and I ran short by literally half a sleeve, y'all. Half a sleeve. I'm actually so like low-key so irritated by that, because I was like, I was knitting on this weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost done, and then I was like, I had a ball like this small. I was like, girl, that is not gonna be enough to knit that whole sleeve, girl. And it definitely was not. So I did end up ordering one more ball. I just got an email this morning saying that it was shipped out and it should be here by the 14th, which means that if I start knitting on it again by the 14th, I definitely will be able to have it knitted up, blocked, and everything by the due date of the test knit on the 17th. I definitely can do that because I definitely want to wear this. I don't care how hot it might end up being outside. I'm going to be wearing this. I'm going to be wearing this. I ended up getting the buttons from my local yarn store. And I ended up, I was like, oh, these two are cute. I kind of couldn't pick between the two. And then I laid them out, like, just like 3 of them. And I was like, ooh, that actually is kind of cute. That's actually kind of eating. So I decided to mix and match them. And I feel like it's kind of perfect because one, the sweater is gray. So having the black button and the white button, you know, if you mix black and white, it makes gray. Perfect. Yeah, I think so. Thank you. Anyways, so yes, I cannot wait to finish this freaking cardigan and knitted and what? I cannot wait to finish this cardigan and so I can wear it. This will definitely be a staple for me during the fall and winter months because one, I have tried it on like with nothing on under it, and I definitely will be able to wear this in the fall as like basically just a shirt. And then because it is a cardigan, I can also still wear it in the winter as a layering piece. So yes, I'm excited. I'm super excited, stoked even. Moving on to my next whip, I have, actually, let's hold our horses a bit because this one is almost done too. So this is a knit that I kind of just was like goofing around with. I don't know if y'all can see like the button bands. This is my first time knitting a button band, and I honestly was kind of just experimenting with how to do button bands and everything like that. And this has been sitting like in my whip bucket for quite some time. I think I started on this last October, like 2024, and I just put it down, didn't pick it back up. I don't remember what wools I used, yarns I used. I know I did use 2 different yarns, from the lighter yarn to the darker yarn, but I was like, the blues just go perfectly together. Literally all I need to do is finish the ribbing on the sleeves, and then I'm done, like quite literally done. But something, I don't know, something in me is not letting me to actually pick this up and finish it. I think I'm not like that excited about it anymore. However, I do feel like once I actually do knit the ribbing on the sleeves, that I will be very excited to wear it this coming fall, just because the color is like eating. So yeah, hopefully this will be done. I don't even want to say by the end of this month, maybe the end of next month. We'll give it to the end of next month. I definitely need to finish it because I'm not gonna frog that. I'm not going to frog this. It will be sitting in my whip stash longer than like for years before I frog this, honestly, because I actually really like how the yarn feels and everything. I just need to finish the ribbing. Like I need somebody bully me, please, y'all bully me to finish the ribbing. Like I'm giving y'all permission to bully me this one time. But don't get out of hand now. Okay, so third whip that I have going on, I casted on another Lavender Haze cardigan. I only have like the first cable repeat and a half done. I am modifying this quite a bit ish. One, I'm not knitting a true button band. I'm knitting the button band in the pattern as I knit the pattern, if that makes sense. Two, I'm using way smaller needles than what is called for in the pattern, but it also still gets me to the same exact gauge, meaning that I will have more cables across than I do in the original Lavender Haze cardigan. Two, I'm not making it into an actual cardigan, so it literally will be like short sleeves like this, maybe even capped shorter than this top, and then like I said, I'm still gonna have the buttons and everything like that. I think that this will, once it's all knitted up, if it plays out how it's going to play in my head, it's going to eat, y'all. It's going to eat. So yeah, we'll see about that. But this is one of two cast-ons that I started yesterday. My last cast-on is I am knitting a second Sophie shawl. The first Sophie shawl that I knit last year using scrap yarn, I think it was like Cascades 200 or 220. I wore that thing out, y'all. I wore that thing dang near into the ground. I wore it out. So I wanted to knit a second one. I am using Barocco Folio Luxe in the color Cocoa. It does have like these sparkles, tinsel silk or something in it, which I think like works really good with the Sophie shawl. Just because like it's not gonna be like in your face, but it's gonna be like in your face, you know. So I'm liking it so far. I'm using this on way smaller needles than the Sophie shawl pattern calls for. Also, I only have this one ball, so I have to make sure that once I get to where I think a midpoint would be, I need to make sure that I measure my yarn out so I don't end up running out by the time it comes down to me decreasing again. But yes, so far I'm really, like I said, I'm really liking how this is coming out. It is kind of, I know you can probably see, it is a little holy, but I don't think that is going to like take away from the warmth of it all. If anything, that just means I might be able to wear it in the fall when it's not so cold, but you know, still a little chilly, and it not being too warming to me, to my neck area. But yes, like I said, I'm liking it so far. So now that we're done with all of my finished objects and whips, we can talk a little bit about some acquisitions that I have planned for the fall and winter time. So currently I was accepted for 2 more test knits. One is the Woodland Tee, and I just purchased some yarn. I think it was King Cole Merino in Mildew. of all colors, of all names to name a color, it's mildew. So but it's like this dark green, like foresty green color, which I think would suit the woodland tea very well. I believe that is 100% merino wool. So I'm really excited for that yarn to come in. Another acquisition test knit that I was accepted into is the Scrunchy Bralette by Blue Farm Knits, I believe. She used to be Lemon Squeezy Knits, but I am going to use stash yarn for that, which will be the We Are Knitters The Mixed in Ochre. I'm really excited to get started on that. I'll probably get started on that either. Sorry y'all, my battery died. One second. Alright y'all, I'm back. I just framed my diploma on the wall, and I didn't want to put nails, more like holes in the wall, so I used some of the like command strips, and it kind of like detached from the wall a bit. It kind of scared me, not gonna lie. But going back into what I was saying, I think I was talking about yes, I had just finished talking about the Scrunchy Bralette. I'm really excited to start on that. I'll probably either start on that either this week or sometime next week. I have 4 weeks to knit it, and it's a bralette, so honestly it will probably only take me about a week to knit it, as long as I have like consistency in knitting it. Beyond that, I do plan to knit a staple skirt in all black. I believe that is by Jeanette. I think that's her name. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But I plan to knit that in all black, so then I cannot wear it at work because I have to wear all black at work. Two, I also plan to knit a third Sophie shawl, y'all. I put my Knitting for Olive order in today, which is Saturday, August 9th. So hopefully y'all did as well to help UNICEF with Gaza, everything that's going on over there. I bought heavy merino and pomegranate for that. Really excited for that to come in. I don't have anything that's like red, orangey in my wardrobe, and I feel like that would be like the absolutely perfect pop of color that I need in my wardrobe. So yes, I'm super excited for that to come in. I also bought a few balls of heavy merino in Brown Bear. I think that's the color. Yes, in Brown Bear, to knit either cardigan number 9 or the tangent sweater. I'm really undecided on which one I want to do. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards cardigan number 9 because I feel like a brown cardigan would be like a perfect staple. But we'll see. That's probably what I'm gonna knit on, but like I said, we'll see. What else? I also bought some yarn, y'all, and the thing is, okay, so I had put myself on a yarn ban, just because I was like, I want to try to save some money, pay off my credit card, all those good things. So I've been on a yarn ban since about April, and yeah, I kind of went a little too happy-go-lucky. the past, like today and yesterday, on purchasing yarn, because I bought yarn for 5 projects. Kind of crazy, but I said if I go ahead and get the yarn now, I won't be trying to buy any more yarn later, because I have 5 projects planned. And I think that's honestly quite a bit, either enough time for me to knit it from now until the end of the year. If not, maybe until about January, February-ish. And then I still have yarn in the stash that I can always just plan something out for. But I bought some more King Cole Luxury Merino in the color Sage to knit the Esther sweater. I think the color is like perfect. It's not like, because one, she knit it in a cream color. I'm going to knit it in a somewhat, I guess, close colored cream. Like if green was a cream, that's what the Sage would be. So yes, I think that will be lovely. I also want to, like I said, I want to try to get rid of all of the like stash yarn that I already have. So I did start putting together some yarns to knit the, I think it's the striped cardi by Loopy Studio. And so I kind of have like a color scheme and everything down. I also, like from the help of a website, is like a stripe website. You just go through, pick colors that are similar to the yarn colors that you have, and it kind of like lays them out for you, either in the same order that you picked the colors in, or it will like randomize them, randomize them to, I guess, what they think would go well. And though me personally, I'm like, I don't know if these colors will go well together. Once I did that, I was like, oh, okay, no, these colors might actually go really well together. So I've used that to put some yarn aside for that cardigan project. So yes, I will be busy this summer. I will be busy this fall and winter with knitting and everything. I also do want to knit 2 projects, like for gift knits for Christmas. One for my little brother. He told me he wanted some checkered mittens, so I will be knitting him some black and red checkered mittens at some point. And then I also want to knit my sister some socks, some blue socks, because she kind of did get the short end of the stick with her socks this past Christmas. Because one, I thought I ran out of the blue yarn that I was using for her socks. Come to find out, they were literally somewhere that I don't even know how they got there. They must have grown legs and walked away, because nothing else knitting related or craft related was with them. So half of one of her socks is blue and then the other half is gray. Sorry, sorry. And also, because I didn't have that much yarn for her socks, she was the only one that got ankle socks, while everyone else got quarter or 3/4, yeah, 3/4, like crew socks. So yes, I definitely need to knit her another pair as kind of like a makeup for the initial pair. But yes, anyways, that is all that I have. I know this was a little long. I'm going to try to edit it down a bit so it's not like terribly long with me talking. Also, like, let me know like what y'all want to see from me, whether it is y'all like the sit down and talk, like sit down talks, or y'all want to see like me actually like in action of knitting and so on and so forth, you know. So yeah, but thank y'all for coming and watching and sticking all the way through this video. If y'all did make it to the very end, comment down below rain cloud. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm going to be taking this my diploma down off the wall and putting some nails in it, because I know y'all, I'm going to leave that in because I need to see my own face. But like I said, that is the very end of the video. Put a rain cloud in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.